you for this month while we pull out the spread for this month, and then we'll go into the cards, okay? So the first thing that I'm feeling here is it just feels to me as if some of you have been, your freedom of movement, your ability to come and go as you please, your ability to move around and to fully, be mobile, has been restricted within the past few months. And I feel for some of you, it could be lack of transportation. For others, it could be just, the demands of work. And then for others, it might be financial reasons that's really keeping you stuck in one place. So you feel a little bit stifled. You feel a little bit like just frustrated for you. And I also feel like, there are new opportunities that you're grabbing up. And I also feel you have many, many good things to come. Okay, so it's looking good. I was a little bit concerned when I did the reading last month, especially the mid-month reading, because it feels as if you were dealing with some really heavy stuff, but the energy lifted for this month, which is, I'm really glad to see that for you guys. I feel for many of you, they mentioned like a major job offer, okay? And it doesn't seem to me like it's leading to, like a long-term career. I feel like it's either like a contract work or it's a work situation where there is an end in sight. So for example, it could be like contingent upon funding. So whenever that funding runs out, that's when the project is going to end. It could be on a contract basis. It could be like, on a temporary basis. But I feel like you have a once in a lifetime opportunity here to really get involved and not only make some money, but learn some really, really good skills that you will make into a career, or you will, I want to say that you will like grow with, that will really benefit you in terms of your long-term professional prospects. Okay, like professional life, your career life, and your career prospects. So I feel like some of you are being hit up by another person for some type of a once in a lifetime opportunity, and the advice here is definitely take it. I'm feeling for some of you in the process of taking this job or this opportunity. I feel as if, salary alone, it just doesn't feel to me like that's the major motivation. But I feel that it's providing you kind of like a step up. It provides you like a major resume booster. And it also provides you like with the skills and the knowledge that you will need in terms of pursuing a specific career path. So it looks very, very good. I feel as if some of you might need to travel in order to get on board with this project. It might be outside of your geographical location, and it might even be overseas for some of you working in that capacity. So you know that there's an end in sight, and you feel like, so you're a little bit hesitant. I feel like, should I do it? Should I go ahead with it? Should I, get involved in it, even though it's not like a long-term career, it's not permanent? Is it worth it to pursue it? And I feel that it is very much worth it for you guys, okay? I'm seeing a lot of people being thrust in the public limelight. So possibly, like via publishing a book, publishing something, bringing something out there for public consumption and public scrutiny. And I also feel as if this is more on the creative front. So you might be a publisher, you might have your own channel, you might, like whip out or churn out creative things for your audience. And I'm seeing a lot of, I'm seeing like people drawing, painting, doing something with a lot of colors. So I feel like, like the Japanese anime, it really comes to mind. So I feel like you're on board for a specific project, and you're bringing forth your skills and your creativity and your publishing, bringing things out into the public so that the other people around you can see it. I feel like it's going to bring a lot of fame and fortune. Okay, it's kind of like the stepping stone, the beginning of fame and fortune. I'm also seeing people working really, really late at night trying to meet deadlines. So be careful about that. Take care of your health, okay? Get proper sleep. I'm seeing a lot of people burning the midnight oil, and just crunch time pretty much, because you might have overestimated the amount of time that it takes to do something, or underestimated, and then you might have overestimated the amount of time that you have free. So I feel like it's really, really crunch time for you guys for this month. I'm also feeling for you a lot of discussions here as it relates to family, living arrangement. Where are we staying? Where are we living? Where are things stable for us? And where can we settle down? So this is a discussion, I feel like for some of you, if you've been, divorced and you're co-parenting, that concept might come in. Your ex or your new, the person you share children with, they might be thinking about a move, or you are in a relationship and your partner might be thinking about a move. So I feel like a lot of discussions here about property, about home, about what we need to do, about some of the things that we need to take care of right now and here. And I just feel like it's a very busy, busy month for you guys. The last thing that I want to mention here, they mention once again, money coming through legal channels. Okay, so it might be a little bit kind of like hung up. And I also feel like it might be just delayed a little bit. So it's like you're waiting on some money. And I feel that it is going to be coming through. And I also feel like there's some stipulations associated with that. So let's just go into this reading here. Once again, we have a lot of people. And I don't know why a lot of the court cards have been coming out across the board for a lot of the signs. So I've done 4 already. And court cards were just dominating the entire spread. So let me talk a little bit about this situation here. We have 3 queens. 3 queens. And usually when they show up in different suits, so we have here the Queen of Swords, which is your energy. We have the Queen of Wands. And we have the Queen of Cups. So I feel as if there are too many people giving you advice. There are too many people that you're going to have to deal with. And I feel like decisions are not made in a vacuum. Decisions are heavily dependent upon, other people, what they're going through, what their ideas are, what their decisions are. So it is going to be a little bit frustrating trying to convince other people to come around to your point of view and trying to get other people to agree to come to a common consensus. So first of all, let me talk about this. I feel like you might be dealing with this person. This is shown up here, so this is your energy. You're trying to convince somebody, the Queen of Wands, a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, male or female. And I'm sensing for many of you, this is a mother, a father, somebody that you are trying to, you're trying to tell them like, here's what you should do. It's going to be really good for you. And I feel like they're kind of looking the other way. They're turning a blind eye. On the one hand, they understand on a very deep intuitive level that you're giving them good advice, that you're giving them, advice from the heart because you want what's best for them. But on the other hand, I feel like they're looking for a little bit more fun, a little bit more adventure, and they're not ready to hear what you have to say. And I also feel as well, this is somebody that I'm seeing an energy of a clique here, like a social grouping where you belong to one social grouping, they're listening to another person from outside of this interaction. Okay, so it's like they have an emotional tie here with somebody else, and they're going to work and make decisions based on the interests of what's good for them as well as what's good for the other person that they might be emotionally invested in. And so I want to say, like, yes, you can talk until you're blue in the face. When it comes down to making the decision, they're heavily influenced by a third party. And I feel for many of you, this is like a fire sign that you are dealing with who has possibly someone with dependency issues, like some type of, they're trying to get their life in order, and I feel like they're trying to do the right thing, but they have out external influences that you are not aware of. And so even though you're telling them and they understand what you're telling them, they agree with you, they're going to make decisions based on previous alliances, previous arrangement. I do feel a lot of office politics here at work. And I feel for some of you, this might be in a work environment as well. It might be like a supervisor or somebody that you're interacting with heavily in a work environment, and they're not listening to you, even though you're trying to, steer them in the right direction. You're appealing to their sense of reason. But I feel like whatever it is, it's not appealing to them on an emotional level. And that's why you might not be able to get through to them. I mentioned this before, Libras, and I feel like this needs to be said again. Okay, I mentioned this, I believe, in the mid-month reading, where I feel like for you and Aquarius, you have a really difficult time speaking about feelings, speaking from the heart, speaking about emotions. It's almost like, as all human beings, you feel things on a deep level. But when it comes to the way that you express things, you're very factual, you're very pragmatic, and you're very fact-based. And a lot of the times, I feel like in order to persuade people to do things that you want, or to do things that is best for you, you have to put in a little bit of a human touch to it. So that basically means, hey, I'm worried about you. I'm worried about the path that you're taking because, of such and such. But more than anything, just express it in a way where it appeals to the other person emotionally. And you might be wondering, like, what exactly does that mean? What exactly does that, entail? It basically means, I feel that you should do this, blah, 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 because I feel that if you do this, you will get this, blah, blah, blah. So it's basically telling them, walking through the emotional process with them. So you can still, interject with these very, you can still do so by appealing to them intellectually, but the way that you phrase it, it has to start with, I feel sentences. I feel that, or rather than I think that, because you're very good at thinking. But when it comes to making an emotional appeal, trying to get somebody on board, you also have to, slip yourself in their shoes and figure out, what kind of person is this? How can I persuade them? What do I need to emphasize in my speech, in my sales pitch, in my argument, so that I can, get them to understand that this is also in their best interest. So I feel like that's something that's coming through for this month. And I also feel like, it's um, if it's not handled correctly, I feel like you might not be able to achieve what you want, or you might not be able to persuade the other person from coming to your point of view, because I feel like emotionally they're already wrapped up in other things, okay? And what we have as well, we have another water sign here. So this is a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. This is the King of Cups. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female. And what I feel with this person is, I do feel this is a relationship partner that you're working things through with, that you're trying to, figure out like what to do. And what I'm getting from this is, let me look at these two cards in conjunction to one another. I'm sensing that for this month, the major theme here is travel. The major theme here is, reassessing whether or not the relationship is restrictive, or whether the relationship is enough for you to build upon. And I feel like for some of you, you might care about a person, but when it comes to like, okay, where do I see me and this person 5 years from now, career-wise? Are we able to be in the same geographical location? Is it practical for us to do the long distance relationship? Is it practical for us to maintain this relationship even though there are, some disagreements, even though I'm sensing some of you are feeling claustrophobic in a relationship. And while you do care about this person, because this is a very loving, very caring, very nurturing type of a person, but the partner that you might be dealing with, I feel like they do come and go. And usually I look at, the couples card, the king and the queen of the same suit. It's almost like two people living far away from each other. Or either one person is traveling heavily and they're not able to be physically and emotionally present when you need them. So there's a little bit of a topsy-turvy energy, turbulent energy coming through as it relates to your relationship partner. And I feel like many of you are reassessing, like, can I still grow in this relationship? Is it making me happy, or am I feeling stifled? And I'm also sensing as well, and this is fine. I'm sensing some of you are ready to go out, meet new people, date around, you might not want to put yourself on hold for just one person. You might just want to go out and, feel the need to make connections, date multiple people, and that's fine. But I do feel that you're caught between what your intellect is telling you. This is, give it another try, give the relationship another try, and you're caught between your emotions, and your emotions basically screams out, I want to explore, I want to live my life, I want to be unencumbered, I want to experiment a little bit. So I feel like that's what's really happening here. So we do have some inner conflict playing out in your life, but I also feel as well, this is a situation where I don't feel like it's gonna be intense. I feel that it's more overcoming internal conflicts, trying to figure out what is the best course of action for me and what's the best step for me to take right now. So let me talk about the freedom of movement situation. I feel like for the past few months, there were things physically for the past few months. So I feel like there were a few things blocking your path when it comes to forward momentum, forward movement, even freedom of movement, feeling free to come and go as you please. There was something physically barring your path. For some of you, inclement weather. For others of you, lack of transportation. And then for others of you, financial worries, even like working really, really late. And then, you wake up really early to get to work. And then by the time you get off work, it's like nighttime and you go home and you repeat the whole process. So it just feels like life wasn't very enjoyable. There were a lot of restrictions. And I also feel like you were really beating, kind of like being very hard on yourself, feeling frustrated, feeling as if you're not good enough. And I also feel like feeling a little bit, this is a card about a victory. So I'm feeling for some of you, feeling frustrated because you feel like you failed in some capacity. This energy is uplifting because it's lifting, excuse me, because they're saying like the process needed to happen, the process of, defending yourself, the process of like having to put in the extra work to show what you are capable of, to prove to others your skills and to prove to others how determined, how responsible, and how strong and ambitious that you are. Once these things were able to be achieved, I feel like that's when progress is going to start. So I feel like some of you are in a work environment where you're starting from the bottom here with the Page of Pentacles. This is somebody starting out and they might not have all the skills. They might not be, adequately compensated based on the work that they're doing. But with it in the upright position, it basically means that it can be built upon. So right now things are a little bit frustrating, but sooner or later you're going to get to the space where you feel good about the contributions that you're making. You feel adequately sufficient based on the salary that you're making, and you will feel as well appreciated by the people around you. So we have some things here that you still need to work out. And I also feel like for many of you, you might have, gone from a more like a creative field, like, art. I feel like more like liberal arts or even fine arts. And now you're finding yourself returning to work, trying to work in an environment that is very practical, it's very structured, it's a little bit rigid, and you're trying to navigate the energy, and you feel like it's a little bit claustrophobic and a little bit restrictive, okay? So overcoming a lot of internal conflicts, I feel, is the major first step when it comes to being able to achieve, showing other people what your potentials are, what your capabilities are, what your skills are, and being able to do that before a job can come into the picture to give you exactly what you want. So we have some really strong things here, and it basically, I'm seeing this element here about overcoming indulgence, overcoming that concept of, it's almost like a lot of the times with air signs, I feel like you look at a situation, for example, you look at a job and you're just like, oh, that looks really easy. I don't really want to waste my time. But I feel like this is kind of, this spread is signaling to me like starting from the ground up, building things from the ground up, making sure it is stable. So don't, turn your nose up at it. If it seems like you might need to start from the bottom to build something gradually, don't skip that step, and don't say, oh, I don't want to be bothered with it, because I feel like knowledge is, cumulative. You have to do step A first in order to learn the techniques in order to do step B. So you're learning from the ground up, and it's going to be a little bit slower than you want. It's going to require a lot of like patience and diligence, but more importantly, proving to other people what you're capable of, so that they can give you additional responsibilities, so that you can climb your way to the top, and then eventually take on more responsibilities, prove more of your skills, and have other people trust you. Okay, so we have here the star in the reverse position. And I feel like for some of you, if you are applying for like a job, a major internship, a major, like a once in a lifetime opportunity, I feel it's coming through. I feel financially it's not going to be paying the amount that you anticipate or you expected, okay? And I also feel like for those of you going through interview process and things, be very, very careful with this energy. So this is an energy about, yes, they know you're smart, and that's why they call you in for an interview. They know you're qualified. However, they need to know as well that you are relatable. They need to know as well that you are able to get along with everybody. And this is not so much a problem for you, Libras, but I feel some of you out there, you might take on this air where you want to show. You want to show your skills and your expertise. You want to show your technical knowledge, but they might find that you are a little bit like less approachable than the next candidate, who's really relatable, who's really nice, who's really like bubbly. Okay, so we have a situation where it's like I see one position, and then I see multiple people applying for that position, because like it's converging as well. So just keep that in mind, okay? I'm going to move on here to your love relationship reading and see what's in store for you. So love, relationships, and romance. So sorry, I have a piece of clay here. Love, relationship, and romance. Oops, I did the wrong format. Okay, so we've got a water sign coming back into the picture. Water signs and earth signs heavily in the picture. Let me just pull out another card here. Okay, so let me talk about the past, because I feel like that's going to be applicable to some of you who are dealing with this, because I feel like the energy is screaming out strongly, okay? So the first thing we have here is the Two of Coins, and this is a card about juggling two people, having two options, not being able to. I feel though this card, when it came out, I believe it came out in the reverse position, and then I put it like this because I thought we were doing a Celtic cross. So I apologize. But I feel as if one of the options have been dropped from your life. So either you decided not to pursue that option, or the other person decided that they were looking elsewhere for a relationship. And so as a result of it, I feel like you have moved away from third party interfering in your relationships. You have moved away from third party temptations. You have moved away from third party influences in your relationship. So with the Judgment card, this is a card overall about, new decisions, new beginnings, things that are kind of established, major talks and discussions with a relationship partner to move things to the next level. In the current environment, some of you are involved here with an earth sign. So we have here the Page of Pentacles, the Page of Coins. It shows up in the reverse position. And in the reverse position, it basically means that this is somebody that might have a lot on their plate. They are at a point right now where I feel they're not they're not able to, see you a lot. They're not able to date. There aren't a lot of date nights, mainly because of practical responsibilities in their life. It's linked up with the Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups indicates, like the great love, the great sacrifice, and also loving somebody, like really liking somebody on a human level, liking the way they are, liking the fact that they are good-hearted, and wanting, like, not only just chemistry and sexual compatibility, but it's also really liking somebody on a deep emotional level. So I feel like for some of you, you are heavily involved here with an earth sign, so that is Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. It is also somebody that you are thinking about here with the Knight of Cups in the reverse position, as well as the Emperor in the reverse position. So I'm feeling that you are either involved with this earth sign, or you are heavily thinking about an earth sign in your life who might be an authority figure, okay? Who might be an authority figure, like a boss, a supervisor, somebody possibly in your work environment who is who has like a station above yours. And I also feel some of you are heavily thinking about this person, wanting to build a relationship, but you're kind of conflicted about where you stand with them, whether or not they are showing you interest. It's a little bit difficult for you to read them because I feel like they can be a little bit stone-faced. They don't really make a move. They don't really, do these romantic gestures to show you whether or not they care or how they feel about you. And there might be some, office politics, some barriers when it comes to moving the relationship to the next level. And then for others, I feel like you've got an earth sign that is really, really digging you, soliciting you all the time. They might want to have more of a friends with benefits type of a relationship with you. And I feel like they like you. They are really attracted to you. But whether or not it's going to lead to a long-term romantic prospect, I want you to just, slow down with that, okay? The foundation is something that you're thinking about. And what we have here is the Ten of Swords. This is kind of like carrying a burden, feeling as if you're holding something in or keeping something afloat. So when it comes to relationships overall, this is a card about one person doing all the work and being met with lack of reciprocity. And I have here, some of you are dealing here with a water sign. So this is a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio with the Ten of Cups. You have a relationship here that is very stable. It's very loving, very caring. And I feel like you love them and they really, really love you. But I do feel like the demands of this relationship is very overbearing. And I'm also feeling there might have been some deception, some stepping outside of the relationship in the past here with the Seven of Swords. So this is, sneaking away, lying, cheating, and, manipulation, but also withholding information, not being truthful. And it's like sneaking around at night. So I feel like some of you are in a relationship. There has been some past infidelities. You both are trying your best to try to get past it. And I feel for some of you, this could be a water sign that you are dealing with this. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, and I also feel could be an earth sign as well, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, because it indicates a very, very strong sense of love. You love this person a lot, but you're not really sure whether or not it's worth the investment anymore. Are they gonna, do the same thing? If the deception is coming through from your end, I also feel like they're trying to reassess. Is the Libran person going to do the same thing? Am I fooling myself by getting back and forgiving and, making, working, building this relationship again? So I feel like there's a lot of hesitation. Both sides are still trying to hedge their bets, and there's trust issues that might be very difficult for you to overcome if you are dating an earth sign or a water sign. And we have what's coming through, the Knight of Cups in the reverse. So this is a water sign. I feel that if you have a water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, in your environment that you're not really sure, like, do I like this person? Or you're not sure if this person likes you. We have here the answer is a yes with the Sun. So you have a water sign, and they seem to me to be really shy. Water signs, especially as it shows up as a knight, it's a very shy person. They're a little bit more, they need a lot of encouragement. They need kind of like some solid signs from you to let them know that you're interested. So if you're dealing with a water sign, and you're just like, I'm not really sure, give them a nudge, show them interest, joke around with them a little bit, lighten the atmosphere when you deal with them, lighten the conversation. And I feel like they need a little bit of nudging from you in order to make a move. So I do feel here dating a water sign, and I also feel like, new connections to be made with a new water sign, if that's your situation, where things can be very good for the two of you. And I also feel like with the water sign, if you are currently dating a water sign, there's some major career, major professional advancement happening for them, where they might need to come and have a conversation with you, like, oh, I'm getting promoted, I might be in a different location, do you want to move there with me? Or they're telling you, I'm taking on more responsibilities, I don't really have time to date. And in that case, you both need to decide, do we continue? Do we just not see each other anymore? So I feel like this is a month where major decisions here when it comes to relationships coming through for many of you who are in coupled relationships. For those of you who are single, I have here a big a person that you might be crushing on, an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, that you're feeling that you're really digging. And I also have singles. If you're dating, if you're out and dating, I have a water sign here that can really put that, like the little swing in your step. I feel like you have some options that are available. I feel like some of you who are newly single, you have a lot going on in your life responsibilities, new professional, breakthroughs as well. And you're handling a lot of responsibilities, so you might not, even be looking to date, looking to, meet up with new people, but I feel like you're going to be crossing paths with quite a few people this month, okay? So earth signs and water signs coming through. So we have here the Knight of Pentacles as well as the Knight of Cups, okay? So I hope that is helpful for you guys. I feel like there will be big discussions here in your relationship sector. And I also feel as well, some of you might be breaking up here with a water sign if you feel like the relationship is not enough for you, like we're not growing anymore, there's a lot of stagnation. If you find that they're not emotionally available, or they find that you're not emotionally available to them when they need it, I feel like there's going to be discussions and you might just move away from it, okay? So I hope the reading has been helpful, Libras. I do wish you the best, and I also completely for reading, and I hope the reading has been helpful. If you'd like to book an appointment with me, my website is in the description box below. If the reading is helpful, please share and subscribe to my channel. And also, I have a donation link. If the reading is helpful and you'd like to contribute to my channel, feel free to do so. It is always greatly appreciated. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.